Welcome to the Current Connection podcast with your host, business manager David Caranco with the IBEW Local Union 278.
Yes, thank you for the introduction, John. Welcome to the Current Connection podcast. This is an IBEW podcast particularly for our members. We want to get out information. We want to make sure the community is aware of the current events. We want to make sure that our members, especially, are aware of everything that's going on within our union, because we all need to be on the same page. Moving forward, we all have to be informed. We all need to be informed to make better decisions at our union meeting. So this is a way that we're going to get our information out to our members. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. This is going to be our first episode. We're launching our very first episode of the Current Connection podcast. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate y'all being here.
Awesome. Hey, David, we got some questions that need some clarification.
Okay.
It's coming from the rank and file members. I guess question number one that we got here is, what is craft certification? And what will it benefit the apprenticeship program moving forward?
Great question. This is a very, very great question. So from what I'm understanding, and the feedback that I've been getting, there's been some misclarifications, what craft certification is and how it's going to benefit, the apprenticeship program moving forward. So first and foremost, the misunderstanding that is out there is that the IBEW and the curriculum that we've been training our apprentices on for the last 50 plus years is merging with the Craft Training Center's hands-on program, which I want to assure you that is not the case. That is 100% not what is going on. We are not merging our curriculum with the Craft Training Center whatsoever. That is not true. Okay. That is by far not the truth. What craft certification is designed and created by IBEW and the National Electrical Training Alliance, was formerly known as the National Joint Apprenticeship and Training Committee. So these are the people who are in charge of the curriculum that our apprentices go through in the IBEW NECA apprenticeship program. They created this hands-on program, and this is a nationwide thing. This thing is going on not only here in 278. As a matter of fact, 278 is one of the last local unions in our state to be moving and adopting this craft certification in our standards. So it's going to benefit the program because it's going to assure that our apprentices are getting the hands-on training in order to advance to the next level. Okay, so a first year apprentice should know, how to bend conduit, at a minimum, how to bend conduit, should know a little bit about branch circuitry, how to know, how to, wire devices after you bend the conduit. Because there's one thing how to bend conduit, and there's another thing having to pull the wire through it and making sure that your conduit fill and your box fill is all proper and accordingly to the NEC.
Right.
So this is what the craft certification is going to do, and the performance-based evaluations are going to assure that our apprentices are getting the proper training. Because what's happening right now in the current situation is not all apprentices and not all journeymen are created equally, meaning that they're not getting the proper, not proper, but the same exposure out there in the field. Some apprentices might be in an industrial environment, while another apprentice is in a service truck, and another apprentice is on a job site, on a commercial environment. So, and it gets to the point where they're there for years, and that's their training assignment, and they're not getting the exposure to the other scopes of the electrical trade that they need to learn in order to have the minimum skills of being a journeyman electrician. So that is what this program is going to do. It's going to make sure that our apprentices, at least at the minimum, have the skills when they turn out of our program of a journeyman electrician. And that's what the whole goal is. We go out there to these job fairs, to these career fairs, and we advertise that our program is the best, second to none. And that's what we're doing. We're raising the standards of our program so that our apprentices get the best top-notch training. And that's what it is. So no, we're not merging our curriculum with the Craft Training Center. This is our own curriculum that was made and created by the IBEW and in the ETA National. And yeah, it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a very great thing for our apprentices in the future. in the very near future that are going to be implementing to these new standards.
Wow, man, that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
that was a good question.
now, there's one that we might get we might need a better understanding.
Hmm.
What is the difference between a bargaining unit employee and a non-bargaining employee?
Ah, okay, okay. This is what we were talking about at our last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what a bargaining unit employee is a member of our union that is a general foreman and below. Meaning, if you're a general foreman, if you're an area foreman, if you're a regular foreman, journeyman, apprentice, CWCEs, you are a bargaining unit employee, meaning that you work under the contract that is negotiated with um, IBEW 27A and the NECA chapter, which is the Southeast Texas NECA chapter here that we negotiate with, which our contractors are part of that association. And what a non bargaining employee is when one of our members becomes a manager, becomes somebody that's above a general foreman that is no longer working under the contract. That is what a non bargaining employee is. Someone that may have been a rank and file member at once, but now they've been promoted to let's say a manager position, let's say a project manager, say a superintendent. um, what else is out there? They got purchasing managers, they got warehouse managers.
There's all
I
kinds, man.
mean, yeah, they got all different kinds of different types of
Classifications.
clerical, yeah, and office type personnel
Mm-hmm.
that are non-productive, meaning that they're not turning tools. Okay, now we represent guys that are out there in the field that are basically roughing in projects. General foremans are the ones that are usually in charge of these things. They're running the show. They're in charge of the area foremans. Then the area foremans that run their foremans, and so on and so forth. The chain of
Mm-hmm.
command. Those are bargaining unit employees. So when we negotiate our contracts, when our CBAs, those are the employees that we bargain on behalf of. Is bargaining unit employees. Non-bargaining unit employees, like I said, are members or non-members who are that work for the firm being the contractor. And some of them choose to keep their ticket,
Mm-hmm.
which is perfectly fine because they know the value of being an IBEW member,
Mm-hmm.
and they always want something to fall back on. There's nothing wrong with non-bargaining members wanting to keep their ticket. But when it comes to being involved in the union activities and you coming to union meetings, voting in union elections, running for office in the union, um, and for a local union, officer elections, they cannot participate in that because
Mm-hmm. Okay.
at that point, they are, like I said, they work for the employer. They're non-bargaining. They are considered managers at that point.
Right, right, right.
So I hope that clarifies that question.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a very good question too. I mean, and I've actually get that one pretty often. So yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Now, here's another one. What about the CCISD lawsuit? Can we go there?
Yeah. Well, shoot, man.
What's going on with the proposal settlement we sent to the school board?
Very very good question. I'm glad you brought this up because last night we actually were at the school board meeting and we actually spoke under public comment to the board of trustees.
Mm-hmm.
So we sent a proposed settlement, and that proposed settlement basically says that all we want CCIs moving forward from this point forward is to adopt Davis Bacon prevailing wages. I mean, that's it. We're not asking for any special treatment. We're not asking for any back pay. And mind you, this has been 20 years. This has been 20 years or 2 decades that the school board, CCISD, and it's not all the same school board members. We have elections, they all change, but the policies that they enforce, the policies that they pass, that they've been told by their staff that they think is the right decision, and in this case is not. And we propose this to their attorneys because they're not wanting to speak to us right now, which is kind of upsetting and disappointing in my opinion because we are their constituents. They represent us. these school board members are the voice of the community, and all we want to do is educate them and let them know that their decisions are affecting the members of the community by not adopting the proper wage package that are going on these bond projects.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what we spoke about last night. And it's just mind boggling to me how their attorney is still claiming that they are not in violation, even though in December of last year, the 13th Court of Appeals determined that what they've done, adopting third party wage packages, is against the law. It's unlawful. And that's what they've done. They've they've broken the law, but at the same time, this has gone for so long unchecked. They've had their hands in the cookie jar for so long, and nobody's said anything. Nobody's blown the whistle. So now that we're blowing the whistle, they're not taking it seriously. They're
Mm-hmm.
not taking it seriously at all. They're thinking that we're gonna go away, that they're gonna extinguish us, but we're not. We're not gonna go away. We're not gonna give up this fight, because whenever they adopt Davis Bacon prevailing wages, it is going to raise the standards, and not only for electricians but for all construction workers.
Across the board.
So yeah, they tried to counter offer us, and just yesterday, I believe it was just no, yesterday was a school board meeting. It was last Friday. Last Friday, they just counter proposed to us that they only wanted to adopt the Davis Bacon wages for electricians only. And they don't want to adopt the fringes, meaning that the whole point and the whole perspective of Davis Bacon is that so that fringes are included, so that the workers, the average construction workers that work on these bond projects, on these tax dollar projects, are providing decent health care and benefits, not only for them, but for their dependents, their children, their wives, and their kids. I mean, isn't that what the American dream is? I mean, to be able to have a decent job that earns a decent living, with an employer that provides decent, medical benefits for them and their families. And that's all that we're asking for
Mm-hmm.
by them adopting the proper wage package, the legal proper wage package, which is the Davis Bacon, the Texas Government Code 2258, which is again it's its own Davis Bacon statute within the state of Texas. There's the federal Davis Bacon statute, of course. That's whenever you're working on like federal, and like on the Navy base that we sometimes work on. Whenever you're building anything that has to do with the government. I know whenever we did the border patrol for Campbell Electric, that was a federal job. That was a
Mm-hmm.
Davis Bacon job. Anything that has to do with the government and public funding. Okay, these bond projects that the CCISD school board builds is public funded. We vote on them whenever it comes to making decisions on whether or not these bonds are even going to be approved or not. And we've approved so many bonds within the last decade alone, and we're talking about millions and millions of dollars that have been spent in the construction sector for CCISD. And all this time, the construction workers that are building these projects are not really being paid the proper wage package, the legal proper wage package. And it's even more mind-boggling that even after we tell the superintendent and his attorney that you have the power to raise the standards, that they don't want to. They want to keep the standards where they're at. And it's like I said, it's really disturbing, and it's really disappointing that
Mm-hmm.
we're even having to make this argument and having to fight this battle, because you would think that public servants that serve in these roles as a superintendent for a very large school district like CCISD would want to do the right thing on their own
Mm-hmm.
without having to be told that you're doing it wrong, and then not only being told that they're doing it wrong but still being adamant to continue to do it wrong. That right there is disappointing, and it is very, very disgusting for our superintendent, Dr. Hernandez, to be acting like this, in my opinion.
Right on.
Very good question, though, John. I really appreciate you bringing these topics up.
Yeah. I've got a few more, if you don't mind, David.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're here for, bro.
Um, so I think we've all passed through here a couple of times. This Saratoga Boulevard is pretty you know. So we all noticed the construction going on out that hall. What's the update and improvements to the property?
Great question. Yeah.
What do we really have going on?
Yeah, well, man, that's one of the things that we've done, since being in this position as business manager, to going on 3 years. We just started progressing our property. The first thing was what we did was our back building, our training building. It was infested with mold. It was in very very bad shape,
Mm-hmm.
and we could not expect for our apprentices to continue to go to class under those conditions. So we shut that down. We condemned it. I mean, it literally did have mold. We got it inspected. We had to condemn it, and we had no other choice but to rectify and remediate the whole mold situation before we can even remodel it to what it is now. And if you've been back there now, I mean, it's a totally brand new, building. I mean, we have a classroom back there,
Yeah.
and we also have the hands-on craft certification slash performance evaluation booth in there that we're going to be doing a lot more of the hands-on training that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, that is the first thing that we did. But with this new pavilion that we're doing right now and the new parking lot, man, that's going to be a real game changer right there. Not only because we'll be able to utilize it for our training and our apprenticeships, and because it is going to be lit up at night. We're all going to have some circular some of those some big fans that are under there. That way, we know it gets hot even at night. So we are going to have some air circulation and some lights over there, so that even during the evenings, it'll be well lit in the evening and in the
Nice.
nighttime when our apprentices do go to school.
Now this pavilion, we are, I guess, being members, are we all going to be able to use it, or how? I mean, how does
Well,
that?
yeah, I mean, it is going to be a multi-purpose pavilion.
Right.
Uh, we're going to use it for union events,
Yeah.
and we're going to use it for training. Yeah, and it will be available to the members when they rent the hall. Yeah, it will be a part of the hall rental, and it's going to be strictly for members like it's always been.
Right.
And of course we want our members to be responsible. We want our members to be, real, tidy, when they're done using our facilities. And as long as everything's good with that, yeah, of course it's going to be available to our members. That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean, to mention it, no, we're going to be done wrapping that up here very, very soon. That new pavilion and new parking lot, that's going to be back here in the back side of our property. With that being said, we at our last meeting we got it approved to have a groundbreaking event for Easter. We want to have an Easter extravaganza.
Did you just say
Yeah, yes,
extravaganza?
sir. Easter extravaganza. It's going to be on April the 12th.
I like that.
It's going to be on Saturday, April the 12th. We're going to start at 2 to 8 p.m. We're going to have a Easter egg hunt for the kids that are 12 and under.
I was going to ask, is it adults only?
Yeah, we're going to have it. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Of course, we had to put an age limit on that one, man. But I mean, of course, all kids are welcome.
Nice.
We're gonna have the festivities. We're gonna have one of them dunk boot. What was it? The dunk tank.
Are you gonna be that guy?
Yes, I am.
Can I be number one?
Yes, you can. But yeah, we did the dunk tank for the last brotherhood event that we had, and it was a real hit. Everybody liked it, so they're asking it for again. And so we're gonna get it. We're gonna have other festivities for the kids.
Nice.
Like moonwalks. We're gonna have things where they can come in and just enjoy the camaraderie and the brotherhood of the IBEW here at 278.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So mark your calendars for April the 12th.
Well,
It's coming up.
If I'm number one, I'm marking that right.
It's coming up. It's coming up, man. I mean, we're like 2.5 weeks out.
Man,
So we
right
got
around the corner.
Yeah, man. So we got to get the ball rolling and get that way this event is a good one.
I can't wait.
Yeah, April the 12th.
All right. You want to jump on the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with the Foreman Development Series. What is it and how would it benefit me?
Okay, the Foreman Development Series, another great one. So we just recently relaunched our FDS training, or Foreman Development Training.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what it is. It's developing foremen out there in the field, because that's one thing that we do. We train our guys to be good journeymen, qualified to be to go out there and do the work. But what we lack in training is how to teach guys how to take the ball and lead,
Mm-hmm.
because whenever you become a foreman, you have to understand and you have to obtain different skills.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to manage other men and women in the field, and manage their productive, their productivity, trying to manage, and you got material, you got to know the contract, you got to know how to deal with different types of personalities on a different basis. It's just so many, looking ahead, planning. um I mean, just for instance, you got the role of the foreman, because there's so many different modules that are associated with the FDS training series. So there's going to be different classes that you have to take to get the certification, but all these classes are, it's just, they say knowledge is power, right? I
Right.
mean, this is all it's going to do is benefit the individual who takes these courses to be even more ready for that leadership position when that opportunity comes, because it will come. To the guys that are out there that are hungry, that are ambitious, that want to be better and want to better themselves, that's what it's all about. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we want to
Absolutely.
recruit. Yeah, that's what we want to
Absolutely.
recruit. And those are the guys that we want in leadership positions.
Mm-hmm.
So the first class was 2 Saturdays ago. We're having our next class this next Saturday, and we want to continue to have these formal development classes every other Saturday. So this next one is going to be March the 29th. It's going to be from 8 to 12. And this module is going to be called the Project Startup Module. Okay, so we all know whenever you're starting up a project, you got to do with your takeoffs, you got to do underground, you got to know exactly what the plan is, because, if you don't, mistakes can happen, and that's when rework comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start messing with your labor hours. You have to understand what your labor hours are. Understanding what the bid process is. If you're going to be a foreman and your job is to literally start trying to manage the crew for the whole perspective of trying to make a profit for your company.
Right.
Because at that point, the more productive you are in the field, the more work that your contractor will get. Therefore, the more busy you are with the same contractor. So when this one's done, you go on to the next one. When that
Right.
one's done, you go on to the next one. It's consistency, quality,
Yeah.
quality work equals consistency jobs.
Mm.
You do good work, you're always gonna stay busy.
Yep.
This form of development is gonna train or already the guys that are out there that want to be leaders to even be even better leaders. So yeah, we encourage all of our members, whether you're a journeyman, CWCE, apprentice, um, take the training. Take
Mm.
this training because it's only going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your career, especially if you have ambitions of being a foreman, of being an area foreman, of being a general foreman, of any kind of knowledge to advance yourself. You always want to take advantage of it.
For sure.
So it's going to be this Saturday, the 29th. It's going to be the Project Startup module. We're going to have our trainers, Ricardo Gomez, Rico, and
Rico.
Jerry Castillo. Those are our two instructors.
Jerry.
Yeah, yeah, man. And they said the first class was a real smash. They had a real good turnout. They had
That's
real
awesome.
good feedback. And they're looking forward to the second class.
That's
So
awesome.
if you didn't take the first class, by all means, don't feel like you can't join and take the second class, because you can. And even if you don't take the second class, you can go and join and take the third class, because we're gonna keep track of the classes that you do have and the classes that you need to complete the complete series. So we encourage you to take them all, but if you have to take them all to get certified. But I mean, we will keep track of the classes that you take as long as you stay there from the beginning to the end, and you participate. Of course, you will get your credit for that class.
Now the sign up on that. Do they call the hall? How do you do that? How do you go
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, yeah. You could give us a call at the hall at 361-855-1084. Talk to the due secretaries. They have a list already of all the classes that are coming up. And just tell them that you want to take the formal development. They'll take your name, and it's free. There's no charge. And there shouldn't be a charge. Whenever it comes to training, that's going to advance our members, there should never ever be a charge. It should be a perk of membership.
Yeah.
So it is. It's free. It doesn't cost. It doesn't cost the member a dime, other than waking up a little bit early on a Saturday. We all know, especially if we work, 5 days a week.
Yeah,
Saturday is
yeah.
the chill day.
Yeah.
But if this is something that you're interested in, and like I said, you're ambitious and you want to advance yourself, take advantage. Take advantage of these courses that we're offering.
Also, on that topic, with that, do you have to be a journeyman? Can you be a CWCE or what?
Yeah, you can be any classification.
Any classification.
Any classification. Journeyman, CWCE, apprentice,
Apprentice.
doesn't matter. If you're a
Okay.
member of the IBEW 278,
Right on.
this class is free for you.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's all I have here, David. You pretty much summed it all up. The questions, from the rank and file members that what they had. I'm good on the question part.
Yeah, so to close this first segment, I mean, I want to tell the listeners that we appreciate you tuning in and taking the time to know what's going on in your local union, to know what's going on in your community. We're going to continue to pump out information like this on a monthly basis, if not on a weekly basis, or maybe even a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah,
because this is the modern way to get information out. That's what we've come to find out. Back in the day, it was newspapers and watching the news. Nowadays, it's people that are watching these podcasts on social media platforms.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We're modernizing the way we're going to get information out to our members, to the community, to politicians that are not doing what they should be doing and serving the greater good of their community, especially them. We're going to get our message out, and we're going to have guests come out on this show. Yeah, today we're launching our first episode, and it is just me today. But no, we are going to have guests. We're going to have other rank and file members. This show is for the members, by the members, so that the members can better understand the organization that they belong to.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. And that is why we're doing this. Our members need to be educated. We all pay our union dues, but we need to understand why we pay union dues and what what those union dues get us. It gets us representation.
There you go.
And that's what we do. We represent our members to the best of our ability. That way our members can have a better chance of getting better wages and benefits.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate everybody tuning in. Until next time. We'll see y'all real soon.
Hey, thank you guys. The Current Connection podcast with your host, the business manager, Mr. David Caranco, IBEW, local union 278. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned.
Have a good one.